Hey guys, Swicker, welcome to our first Ace Attorney playthrough on this channel. I've had a few questions asking if I'd ever upload a Phoenix Wright playthrough, but truth be told, I'd already completed all 6 mainline entries and both Ace Attorney investigations to boot off camera, but we've got a loophole in that we won't be playing a Phoenix Wright game per se, but certainly an Ace Attorney one. I've heard quite a bit about the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, but I know very, very little about what's in store for us here, apart from the presence of a Sherlock Holmes kind of XP, thanks to a certain someone on our channel Discord servers. Let's just say obsession with him, so we'll be diving in almost completely blind. We've also got a particular aesthetic presented to us with the game set in a more historical period, so looking forward to seeing how that affects the trials that we're going to be partaking in. I humbly ask that you guys refrain from posting spoilers in the comment section, as is customary with these kinds of playthroughs, but your comments are more than welcome, so feel free to post as we go along. Without further ado, let's put on our attorney's badge and find ourselves some clients to defend. Press any key. Done. Select adventure. Let's go. I need to get used to the new control scheme because, to be perfectly honest, I played through the other games via emulator. Except for the first one, which I found on the iPhone store one day while I was on vacation and bored. Let's go! New game for the great Ace Attorney Adventures. I do like these anime cutscenes that they started
after opening its doors,
putting into the games, the later entries anyway.
Brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the
immigrants
capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
I can see why crime suddenly went up. All these foreigners arriving, not following the laws of the land. Oh my goodness.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Caught red-handed. How the hell am I gonna get out of this one? I'm assuming that's me. And of course, we must start the first episode, the adventure of the Great Departure, with our fate hanging in the balance. 22nd November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants, Antechamber 5. Alright. We're not playing in story mode, so we will have to present evidence. I couldn't believe that there was an actual option for that, which is very interesting how times have changed. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Jeez. Even the layout back then is similar to modern times. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your prayers. Murderer! Jeez. We haven't confirmed that yet, you know? I'm about to go to trial to defend myself. Maybe after the verdict's read out, then you can start calling me all this slander. But for now, shut your mouth, bailiff. Sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. I had the murder weapon in my hand, standing over the dead body in front of 3 witnesses, which is already a bad look for me. But miracles do happen, you know. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! It's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue, lest I slice it off and present it to the judge for lunch. Technicalities? Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. Well, and yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Man, the aircon is really turned up high in here. My bandana's fluttering. Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. I just like to apologize to people. You know, I like to avoid conflict, which means I'd be a terrible lawyer. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. Sorry. I'm sorry. Don't I said it again. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by a student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! You have to believe me! I didn't do it, I swear! I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. The truth always comes out, no matter how bad it looks. I promise. You mean? I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Well, I'm glad you believe in me. That's the, the number one rule for defense attorneys. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend. Also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He certainly wouldn't murder a professor if his grades were low, because they're never. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. You're reading my mind, Kazuma? The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes. That's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. Wow, really? The government elites taking interest in the undergraduate program, I see. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you. And proud. As your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. Man, that's certainly something, you know. I wish I could be called a living legend as a student at university. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. Even though it's just been established, kind of. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together, while also studying the legal procedures, of course. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Maybe murder a professor. No, just kidding! Just kidding, I would never do that. Remember I said that? Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then. Partner. Alright, partner. And just like that, he faded away in his seat. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Sogi, may I have a word? Ooh, hello there. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me, but never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. Here's a couple of gold. You can probably make something happen, I assume. To His Excellency's chambers. Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? Not a professor I know. I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I would hope so, otherwise he's an imposter professor. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. Alright, well, have fun, you two. In the judge's chambers. Oh, this is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. Oh, yeah. It must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right, that's me. My name is Yujin Mikutoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikutoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Soge has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. He mentioned me, the living legend. As such, I feel you should know. You're a fucking murderer, and I hope you don't drag down Asogi with you. No what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial... That wasn't too far off on my, flavor text there. I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. So, I hope you're feeling extra nervous now. What? Oh, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. One blemish on his record is enough to disbar him from such a journey to the Great British Empire. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I... Well, you know, you say you didn't do it, Ryunosuke. You better have faith in that living legend attorney of yours. I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. Well, then you have nothing to worry about. He's going to be going abroad. I'm sure that's true. I've heard that one before. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry, what do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. Always like a good show in the courtroom. I can't tell you everything. That would be spoilers. But then what should I do? Well, pray. Naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. You have the right to remain silent, after all. Probably not in the courtroom, though. I think that was only when you get arrested, so forget that fact. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. Oh, really? A certain question. Oh, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do? I'm not getting married, am I? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. There's two of you now. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Defend yourself. For God's sake, you're supposed to be a lawyer as well. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving! There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. Murderer! Scumbag! This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'm gonna be in prison. That's probably more important, actually, to me right now. I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. The one that started it all. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. Alright, I'm hyped. Let's get this done. 22nd November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I'm sure you guys will correct me. So this is a courtroom. I see with my big wide open eyes. I'm wide awake. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of these people sitting in the public gallery. They're all faceless and still. They look like statues. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. Are they gonna shoot me as soon as this is over? Powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now. You need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Here, take my handkerchief. You're sweating so much. Oh! Ah! Oh my god! You're kidding me! Of course, he has an ancestor as well. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency.
As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? I do.
This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, well, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Time won't stay frozen forever.
Well, the professor told us to do it. Do we trust him? I mean, do we trust ourselves to defend ourselves? Answer I do. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. Yes, high five! What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke?
Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now before the trial.
He did what?
He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose.
How sad. Means you don't have faith in me. That's not true. I'm just doing what the professor told me to do. You know, I'm still a student. I gotta listen to him. You think I won't be able to get you off? Well, geez, we'll save that for, you know, after the trial. No, it's not that, really.
It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you...
Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in.
Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself.
Yes. Look at me. I am not even blinking.
Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san?
Oh! Yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking.
I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank.
I love the similar animations we've got to Phoenix, of course.
I realize you are in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, he must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. God, it's hot in here.
As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature in Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes, Your Excellency.
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence? What does that mean? I don't know.
It's questioning your ability to do the job.
Well, you can't be questioning it more than I am.
So let's start with this very simplest of questions. I should probably rephrase that. Let's start with the very simplest of questions.
Oh, yes.
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But of course I can't remember it now. I need a tutorial on how to view the autopsy report. Wait, do autopsy reports exist in this time? But, wait. Oh god, I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again?
Ryunosuke? Jesus Christ, get it together, man. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank.
You know me so well.
All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record.
But I can't even find that. There isn't even a key binding on the bottom right corner of the screen.
It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of E.
Ooh.
If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there.
Okay. I just have to press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose.
Let's have a look. This is the list of evidence you've collected. I see you've put your collar pin in there just to fluff it up a little bit. Now try switching to people instead with E. Well, it looks like we've got some sort of report in there, so that's cool. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z to go back. Or Z for you Americans.
Kazuma Sogi, 23, a second year at the Imperial Yume University. He's my best friend, and despite being a student, a qualified defense lawyer as well. Yujin Mikotoba, he's 42, medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. He's an authority in forensic medicine, and Kazuma's mentor. We got Taketsuchi Ochi, 51, the lead prosecutor of this case, who would appear to have little love for the changes the Cultural Reformation has brought about. And John H. Wilson, 47, the victim of this case. He was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. Okay, so John Wilson is our victim. Nice bowler hat. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Okay, gotcha.
Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press R to present. Try it now.
Alright, I present to you John H. Wilson, 47 years of age.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed. Which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. Could there?
And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil.
Oops, that's the court record. But I suppose now as good a time as any to review the post-mortem report. We got the university collar pin first, proof that I'm a student at the Imperial Yume University. I always wear it on the collar of my uniform jacket. And we've got post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by blood loss from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Cool, we can examine it. That's more detail, I suppose. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. I feel like that's going to come in handy some point. Dr. John Wilson. I wonder if that's play on Dr. John Watson. I suppose time will tell.
You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? Oh, but I didn't do it.
This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter.
In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime.
Oh, well, I'm happy to be a pawn for the government.
So that's why this trial has these unusual, peculiarities, is it?
Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible.
All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman.
Dear, some bake Asian,
but nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime.
Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going.
Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer.
Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Alright. The continuation of this scene.
The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Huh? Wait. Ooh. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello.
So I went over to the professor's table and said hello.
And introduced myself to Dr. Wilson.
Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Sorry to catch you in the middle of your flashback.
Yes, Your Excellency.
How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death.
I'm not the medical practitioner, sir. The cause of death. Well, obviously, that was... Come on, Ryunosuke, I actually read the autopsy report. Can't use this excuse again.
Ryunosuke, remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence.
By evidence? But how?
Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now! Okay, presenting. Oh, whoops, I didn't press the right button. R, present.
Yes. Well... according to this document, which one? I don't know, actually. Hang on, let me shuffle through them. The victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report.
In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. It's kind of like what you do with the frogs in medical school. You can ask the professor about it later. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way.
Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later.
Interesting. Okay, so that's different. I wonder if that's gonna play a part.
This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. New and improved technology coming into the courtroom. I like it.
Wow.
You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. Very modern.
The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. A photographic print that shows the victim. He was shot from the front in the chest and subsequently died.
Alright.
So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible.
Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. You are competent. Let us start the trial.
Alright. Well, I thought he was going to start flying. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
Ugh. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind.
The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba?
Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant.
Yeah, you're my Maya Fey. You're my Athena Sykes. You're my Apollo Justice. You're my Kazuma.
Of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Sogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial.
Loophole! Loophole!
He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? I mean, isn't that what trials are all about in Ace Attorney?
Loopholes! Contradictions! Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma.
Well, my first piece of advice is...
rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. For goodness sake. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first.
Well. Guilty as sin. Look at him.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please.
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival.
So, Ace Attorney usually has punny names for the witnesses and defendants and whatnot, but probably going to be missing it because they have Japanese names in this. I wonder if it still applies, or whether or not they've actually just gone ahead and gave these guys regular names now, which is fine. I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. Oh my gosh. Are you alright? Seem to be coughing up some ketchup. It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago.
Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident.
At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question.
We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair.
Look at his steak, it's untouched. He's facing away from it.
This is truly a peculiar case. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes! Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, which was not very smart, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But...
Next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo.
Nice to see he's still got the disappointed shake of his head.
Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness.
Ugh, really? I have to listen to him defaming me? If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today.
Gosh, get that checked out, man.
Yes, without question. I see. Case closed, Your Honor. Sorry, Your Excellency. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student.
Huh? Wait, what did he just say?
There was no one else around that table?
What's the matter, Ryunosuke?
That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello,
oh my god.
there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. She was out of frame.
Really?
And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do?
Wait and see. We cannot interject until it is cross-examination time. Yes.
I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject.
Ryunosuke,
if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you?
I suppose I am. I'd never have gotten into Yume University otherwise.
But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty.
But we're not in cross-examination mode. Damn it.
Okay. Alright, you scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it. It's probably better I don't look like a freaky frog with my wide open eyes.
Yes!
Just a moment, please!
Oh, I thought we were going to be closing our eyes.
Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady. She was sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
For fuck's sake, dear me, what are we gonna do with you? I swear to God I've told you, you amateur, to shut the hell up. With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud.
See, doesn't that just discredit my reputation and my character?
Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real liar after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw. Osanaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. Uh-oh, he's got the evil glare of the glasses. He's clearly guilty. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone.
I don't believe it.
This is my obvious tell I'm lying. Too bad you don't have the bracelet.
I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. I draw in my spare time.
Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume.
That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. See, I drew it, so it's true.
Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter.
Thank you, sir.
The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence.
Oh, well,
Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once!
of course. Here you are.
What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now.
Something certainly seems to have shaken him. And his lungs. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. The head waiter's business card, a sketch of the restaurant's layout, is on the back. What's on the front, I wonder?
Oh, God.
So, the court has now heard a process of the case.
Yes. At the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo,
Yes, Your Excellency.
if you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
I thought there was no one there.
What do you think I should do, Kazuma?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence?
That's how they get you, Ryunosuke. That's what they want you to do. They want an easy case. Confess, plead guilty, done. Chuck you in the slammer, close the books, and move on with our lives.
Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities.
But, you know you didn't do it, Ryunosuke. So, it'll be a very blatant miscarriage of justice if we plead guilty, just because we're scared of the penalty.
You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this.
As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent.
I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke.
Whoa. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. Hey, I'm supposed to advocate for myself. What are you doing? We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. He's got the pointy finger of doom. Indeed. Prosecutor Aochi, please continue with proceedings.
Well, you were warned. Young can be so reckless.
Let's just have a quick look at the court record real quick. Can I examine this plan? I obviously cannot turn it over, but I can use a magnifying glass to examine it a little better. Obviously, there's not much we're going to glean from that. Okay, let's leave that.
You know, many call me a saint.
but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. No wonder you're missing hair in those places where the horn should be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced. Forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses.
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once.
Oh, both at the same time? Or maybe there's more than two. Ah, here they are. They were in the cutscene. Witnesses! Kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
This guy looks like, I obviously don't know what the show is, but it's that meme where he's got both his fingers at his temple and he's addressing someone who's like knocked out cold in the rubble. I'm embarrassed to say I don't know what show it's from.
Yes, sir! The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Yesa Nosa, reporting for duty, sir.
Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Curio Korikuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier, ha! What an unusual pairing!
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea from the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business.
I can't understand a word that old man is saying.
He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. Alright, well, that's some good business sense. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele.
Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative! The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir! It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir!
This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. Witness testimony. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable?
I've been uncomfortable since this whole thing began, Kazuma.
If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start.
See? I am Ryunosuke right now. I'm embodying the character.
Now the court will hear from your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred.
Sir, yes, sir! Standing by, ready to report, sir!
Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon.
Damn, he's even got me confused on pronunciation.
Witness testimony, here we go! Our first one of the game, of the series. What the witnesses saw.
I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a technical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Well, that was a blatant lie. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Alright, short, simple, and to the point. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment.
You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. What times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Oh, you're doubting me now, you bastard? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor. How did it get there? After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. Wait, what? So he wasn't dead yet? I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up. Oh, wow. So he was shot from somewhere else. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? What? I don't understand. Do it now! Put that cookie down!
As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice, I tell you!
Certainly. The testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands its right to a cross-examination.
Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. Oh, how pathetic.
Huh? How did you know? I guess he's not that bad of a prosecutor after all.
The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How could he possibly carry out a cross-examination? Hey, I paused a competency test, sucker.
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Are you objecting to his rights now?
Kazuma, so commanding.
Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses.
Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. The question is, what evidence do we want to present? We've got two that could be viable. We've got postmortem report, and we've got the photograph of the victim. Both state that he was shot in the chest. I suppose probably this one outright states he was shot from the front, so that's probably our way to go. Alright then, that was the weakest slap of the desk, Ryunosuke, I've ever heard. By the end of this game, I better hear you karate chopping this thing in half. It's all or nothing. There we go, cross-examination time. What the witnesses saw. We will press every statement, because that's what you gotta do. When you go through this testimony, you don't go straight for the right answer. You hear everything they have to say. Alright, so we are going with the 5 live system of the originals rather than the health bar. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Press.
Yes!
Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation technique?
I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. I just wanted to see what the press button did. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then, this beef steak you mentioned, what kind of food is that?
Attention! Ah! Beefsteak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot.
Oh,
If food could receive medals of honor, beefsteak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet.
what the hell was that baby noise? Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that?
Attention!
Ah,
Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep fried in cooking oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, try it!
yes, sir, I will, sir. On the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but how about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? Oops, sorry. I'll do my best. So, next question. Oh god. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a sort of wah crying noise?
Negative!
Well, at least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Prime Presser! Achievement unlocked, I'll take it. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. Press.
Yes!
I have no idea what you're talking about. Speak the language we're speaking here, damn it. A koban, boy. A koban? You mean an old Edo coin? The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoei period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day with said item secreted in my bosom pocket.
I shouldn't have said secreted in his bottom pocket, that sounds dirty. Secreted.
In the hope of an affluent what the fuck ever, appraised of its indisputable value being present.
I swear, I gotta look up these words after. This is how you expand your vocabulary, ladies and gentlemen.
So, you were hoping to sell your Koban coin to Sergeant Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant?
Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious koban. Isn't that so?
Well,
You little upstart cadet! Here's my tax returns, damn it! I can afford plenty! You want to add disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination!
no, I didn't say anything. Shouldn't it be insubordination? I don't know. Although penniless might be just the word I was looking for. In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business.
The gentleman beside me, who was grappling with his braised veal at the time, was my sole prospect.
I see.
Alright, the damning statement. At that precise moment a firearm was discharged, I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. No, this is not it, actually, it's the next one. But we'll press this. So, you're saying that you actually saw me at the time?
Ah, affirmative! I saw you, laughing, cackling, like a madman, as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian.
But that's impossible. I only...
Allow me to confirm just one point, please.
What's that, Private?
Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table.
And so what if it was?
Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't, in fact, see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun.
Off! And double off! My sixth sense.
Sorry?
I saw dead people. My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means... a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, Cadet.
Surely that's not really possible. Is it?
Do you think I'd have gotten where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son?
Well, it would seem the soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good. No, it's not. And voicing Nosa is not good for my throat. Oh god. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Yes!
Not yes. Don't confirm his testimony. So this black uniformed cadet, university cadet, that is, you're saying that was...
Oh! I've had just about enough of your sauce, Cadet. Who else do you see around here in a black uniform,
Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits the description as well, but...
It was you, you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. From behind his back. And you call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon? You disgust me!
What is it, Ryunosuke? I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court. Thrust it in the witness's face and make him choke on it. Wow, okay. The evidence, that is. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Yes!
On your hands and knees? Could you explain that, please? That's right. Spurning the arthritis, I was in order to retrieve the lost piece. What lost piece are you referring to? The Koban, of course! The exquisite Hoei-era Koban coin! I had just been showing the rare treasure to the military man as he masticated his meal. After averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished.
The Koban vanished?
Hence I began to acquaint myself with the intricacies of the floor in order to locate it. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? None other than... It was no concern of mine. I was frantically scouring the floor for the aforementioned lost treasure. So, in fact, you didn't actually witness the precise moment when the incident occurred. Indeed. Myself, I did not. Alright, there you go. Ugh, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Listen, Ryunosuke. We know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them. I understand that. The question is, how? Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving testimony by pressing E. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence, and compare all the facts. Simple legal work. This is how courts run in reality. Somewhere in there you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. An inconsistency. When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seems to contradict each other, present your evidence with R and rip the witness apart. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll hold off on the ripping apart thing. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you're dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart, and you will receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record, and find an inconsistency with the witness's statement. Alright, I'll give it a try. You can hear the witness's statements over and over again as many times as you like. So keep your head, and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. Thanks, partner. Let's go ahead and rip this guy apart. Fourth one, we're going to present
The photographic print.
Yes!
Yes! Man, it's not the same as objection, is it? Well, this is awkward.